Good morning. Oh my Lord, it has been a unbelievable week. Every single aspect of my life, personal and business, I think was actually touched this week, challenged this week, changed this week. It's been crazy, but welcome uh, to every Saturday, a Small Business Saturday. And my name is David. Today is the 38th or 39th consecutive. We started broadcasting on the very first Saturday in January. And here we are at 39 Saturdays away. September 21st, theoretically, the beginning of fall. And here in Cincinnati is going to reach at least 90 degrees today. What a way to welcome fall. Actually, the leaves on the trees are very, very confused this year as they are definitely not getting enough water. I think I'm hearing it's the worst year ever, certain months, certain days here in Cincinnati in terms of amount of rain or lack thereof. So that's been a real challenge. It's also this is a real mind boggler. It's UN International Peace Day. There is so much commotion going on in the world today. I hope at least folks step back and give it a rest today. There's so much unrest all over the world. Just read a horrible headline 15 minutes before I started the live stream. Don't even want to repeat the headline. And it is complicated. It's very, very complicated, and the only way that things are going to happen, peace is going to come, is a collaboration of minds, all minds, the minds with power, and get an understanding of what it takes to live peacefully. So it's a challenge, and I hope that we will see the day. I hope my grandchildren will see the day. Wow. Be that as it may. Also, this week I had my quarterly visit with my oncologist, radiologist, and we discussed the fact that I have less cancer, prostate-specific antigen in my body than I've ever seen, than I've ever known. The number was lower than I've ever known it to be. I first learned about prostate-specific antigen around my 65th birthday, 10 years ago, when I had my very first Medicare annual physical that Medicare requires every year. And in the blood work that was done, it indicated that my PSA was 4. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but my primary care physician's comment about that was that 4 is at the top range of there are three ranges. It is in the lowest range, number 4 of prostate specific antigen. But his comment was, "I'm not really that concerned yet." I think I heard him say yet. Next year, 1 year later, same my physical, the blood work indicated that my PSA was 7. And immediately my primary care physician said, "Now I am concerned. You need to go. I'm scheduling you with actually the head of urology at the University of Cincinnati Med School, the UC Health, where I get all my health care, is affiliated with the University of Cincinnati and its med school. So I've been very blessed to have access to academic heads of departments. That happened in cancer. It happened in the heart department, cardiology. But anyways, started seeing the urologist, and in less than a year, and seeing him, that number went up to 14. 14 is the highest number that I have ever seen. And then I got to step back for a moment. The PSA number is very, very different. It's different. It's a number, but it's interpreted differently depending upon where you live in the country. I had communication with an individual who had his prostate cancer diagnosed, analyzed, handled at the most known Johns Hopkins for cancer, for prostate cancer. So I learned a lot, but the thinking was different there than it is in necessarily in Cincinnati. And so I had a wonderful discussion with Dr. Barrett, and we both agreed about at least 3 years ago. We agreed. I've been a patient, hormone replacement therapy patient of Dr. Barrett's. I'm now in my 8th year with him, so it's working. We looked at the situation, analyzed it, and I said to Dr. Barrett, I am absolutely convinced that I will pass on with PSA in my body. I am not, the reason for my passing on is not because I have PSA in my body. It's going to be something else. And so he smiled, and we did a high five and moved on. So good report. I made a decision and asked him if it was okay with him, and he's the most laid back medical specialist that I have ever met in my life. We just sit down and have a conversation. He's a real person. He listens. He throws a lot of the decision-making power, decisions to the patient, to me. Well, he did with me anyways. And my response is, you're the decision maker. If you say do it, that's what we're going to do. So it's working. Whatever was established, and the strategy and the plan and the execution of that plan is working. So that happened this week. Also this week, well, you heard, because it's 2 weeks ago now, that I got a new MacBook Pro Air 13.5, 14, whatever the number is, and I love it. It is, of all the machines that I have produce videos. I've been producing, I did my first YouTube almost 17 years ago. So I've had a lot of machines, a lot of technologies, and video technologies, and this is absolutely the best. So I ran into an internet problem when I discovered that, and I have Spectrum Internet. I was being charged for 400 BPSs, and as I did a speed test on my own computer, I was getting considerably less than that. So I went to my actually very friendly Spectrum store. It's right on the University of Cincinnati campus, on the north end of the campus, actually the south end of the campus, and had a tete-a-tete with actually the store manager. And so we made some adjustments, of course, to my account, pretty much to their advantage. But I was able to say, well, geez, what are we going to do about you're not delivering, and I'm getting charged for delivering, and you're not delivering. And so I was given a new modem and a new router. And actually, it made a lot of sense because the router and modem that I was using was 5 years old. I've had it for as long as I've been in this location. And I'm sure there have been hundreds of technology advances in those 5 years. So brought the router home, hooked it up myself, was not able to get my Wi-Fi signal. And I think it's done on purpose so that you do call Spectrum Mobile so they get you online and they know who's using their signal, control issues. And it took about a half hour and patience on the technology person on the other end. But we got it connected in. And part of the renegotiation and let's make things right thing, I was not really given, but I don't know what they did. Internet TV, Spectrum Internet TV, and I did not want Spectrum Internet TV. I'm happy with the very simple local broadcast signal that I get. I don't have I don't go online to watch any of the viewing that I do. But at any rate, I got a Xumo Streambox, and later on today I'm going to hook it up and have access to a whole new world. So all that stuff happened this week. Also, what happened this week, I had planned up until an hour ago, not even an hour ago yet, I had a plan of what I wanted to talk about today, to share today, and I got an email that got my attention immediately. So I said I need to address that and talk about that, and because it will relate to, specifically will relate to where I am in my life. Oh, it wasn't. Here's a picture of my oldest grandchild. That's Eloise. Facebook. Eloise, a couple months ago, was 11 years old and actually no longer has braces. But last time I visited, while I wasn't looking, she snuck and put her picture on my screen, my wallpaper. and yes, I left it there, Eloise. I'm not going to take it away. You were responsible for Grandpa David. There was no Grandpa David before you. So, Forbes magazine, I get an email with headlines and stories. Actually, it's not from Forbes. They're on another portal site that I get. But today, an hour ago, they had a story, 5 tips to achieve financial freedom through entrepreneurship. And I said, yeah, I need to probably read that and see what's on their minds, see how much I agree with or disagree with after doing it for 53 years. Yes, 53 years ago, I became a 3rd generation in my family small business owner. My maternal grandfather, my father, and myself. And that's what we talked about. That's what happened in our homes because small business was such an important part of what we did for ourselves and for those who took advantage of what it was that we were doing. And it's been a wonderful, exciting journey for me. It was only not by design, but by circumstance that I actually became a publisher. The very last face-to-face conversation I had with my father was Father's Day 52 years ago. And when he asked me the question, well, why? I had just come home from 5 years of college, 2 degrees, no job, and there's all reasons, the timing and the things, the way things happen. But Dad said, "Well, aren't you going to go to law school?" And I said, "I would love to. I had always wanted to, but the timing in my life and what is going on, it's not the right time." So he literally went in to the house, got on the telephone, and in about 30 hours later, I had traveled. In that 30 hours, I had traveled to Charlotte, North Carolina to form a collaborative partnership with a publisher, and came home to pack up my car and drive back to Charlotte. And so I then became a publisher, and it was a wonderful thing that happened in my life because for the last year of my father's life, he and I were publishing to the same audience, not geographically the same audience, but to the same audience. He in Canton, Ohio, and me in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it was a wonderful exchange that I was able to have with my father in his very last year, because a year later he passed on. So that's how it all began, and for me it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. But let's get back to the article and see how much what they say, how it's impacted my life. And entrepreneurship promises financial freedom, flexibility, and control over your future. Absolutely does those 3 with the challenge and the risk factor being the financial freedom. How much financial freedom does one really have? Let me finish this and I'll bring it home to myself. For many, it represents a way to escape the 9-to-5 grind, take charge of their schedule, and create something meaningful. However, while building your own business is appealing, it's not without challenges. Good statement. For example, according to recent statistics from the Small Business Administration, over 66% of companies don't survive their first 10 years. I think I know what that means, but it's the first time that I've ever seen it taken out to 10 years, actually. And I'm sure the facts are correct. Although there is another dynamic at play that the SBA can't really address because it doesn't have the proper data to be able to address it, and that is the world of the solopreneur. Actually, I have been a solopreneur for all of my years except 2. Well, I still was a solopreneur, but I had a staff of folks. I wasn't doing everything myself. I had a staff of folks, a great staff of folks. We published a magazine. We started a magazine in Canton, Ohio, and in 11 months, we reached the pinnacle of profitability and impact, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Very quickly, without a lot of detail, I made the worst personal and business decision of my life in the first year, and at the end of the first year of that magazine, when I made a personal decision that I regretted later on, but I should have made the business decision that we had a good thing going, and keep it going and keep it growing, but it happened differently. So why don't companies, small businesses survive their first 10 years? It's not because the founders lack passion or motivation, but because they often lack a strategy, clear direction, and financial knowledge to succeed. This article explores 5 essential tips to help you start a business and grow it sustainably. Comment about that. I have personally, in all my years, the last 53 years, I've never been driven by the ability to make more money. Lots of money, unlimited money. I have never been driven by that. I have been driven by establishing goals and objectives and achieving those goals and objectives, and having the passion, persistence, and patience when I felt that they were the right goals, and so it worked. The formula has worked for me. It will not work for a lot of folks, but it absolutely worked for me. And so my thought was that if I was doing the right things, and if I had the right business, and it takes money to operate the business, to do all the different things, that the money realized would be there to take care of my needs. And if I needed more than what I was seeing or realizing or living, then took a different approach, different strategy. But that really hasn't happened, and so that is an important consideration. The other thing I need to address is that people, when they talk about business, they talk about risk and failure. Those two words, ideas, concepts really have never been a part of my thinking, of my mindset. Um, Risk for me has been a way of life. So that's the risk. It's been my way of life. Uh, and failure is it's something that my mindset has never been about failure, because if somebody has a business idea and they want to pursue it and bring it to market and share that idea with the marketplace, they do it. They feel it. They do it. Uh, the failure comes, and they actually, this article has touched upon a little bit already. Um, the failure, in my mind, comes when the individual has not carried out what their passion is. And if it's not their passion, then don't do it. Don't do it. Continue doing what you're doing. Find something else to do. If that's your passion, then pursue it with all your energy, and must be patient, because in the world of business, marketing, and sales, we are dealing with human behavior, and human behavior does not necessarily change overnight. It takes time to change, and it segues into a conversation that we're going to have at the end of this live stream about trust. It's all about the trust that you can build, and how do you build that trust. So let me take a quick look at the 5 points. Point number 1: be intentional and know what you are building. Many people are driven by the desire for freedom, flexibility, fulfillment, but excitement can often lead to starting a business without a clear plan. Don't start a business unless you have a clear plan. But have an understanding what you're trying to do. Talk to friends. Talk to the folks that know you, know how you behave, know what your personality, and say you have this idea. Ask your friends, do you think it's a good idea? And do you think I can make it happen? Your true friends. Your true friends will give you the good answer. There are many folks who pretend to be your friends and will not give you very good answers. So beware of who you trust. Define your long-term vision. Absolutely. Define what the long-term, what it looks like. The path to get there, it's going to change. Believe me, trust me, it's going to change, because of the fact of reacting to human behavior. You don't know how the other folks, how the rest of the world is going to react to what it is that you're doing, and their positive reaction to what you're doing makes you move forward. Negative reaction creates no movement. So determine your long-term vision. I'm going to pop my long-term vision into the conversation right now, and we'll get into more of a discussion at the end. I just decided a couple of weeks ago that almost 4 years ago, when I started to build and develop what I have, what there is today, I knew what I wanted the big picture to be, the long-term vision. I didn't know how I was going to get there, and it took me 4 years to figure out exactly how I was going to get there and exactly what I needed to do to make my long-term vision succeed. My long-term vision, just precisely defined a couple of weeks ago, was that I will spend the rest of my time pursuing, publishing, digitally producing and publishing 10,000 live streams, marketing and sales, value and trust live streams. The theme being marketing, sales, value, and trust. Obviously, for other folks, the 10,000 folks that get involved, that collaborate with us, they will have for themselves a 19-minute conversation, marketing and sales, value, trust conversation. What value do they bring to the marketplace? And why should people trust them to do what they say they're going to do? How do you build that trust? I know the right questions to ask because I've been asking myself those questions for 53 years. So I'm sure I'll be able to assist and produce and publish the best 19-minute marketing and sales, value, trust conversation. You'll see, you'll realize. So that's my long-term vision. Master the business of numbers. Yes, you have to understand what the numbers mean, how they work. To me, the most important number is cash flow. Cash flow to the business. That's where it starts. That's where you make things happen, is the cash flow that is established. So that has been always my mindset. How do I establish that cash flow? And then we start to put it into the operations to deliver, because folks trust us. They've invested in us to trust, to bring a solution, to bring a finality to what it is that they are pursuing. And they chose you to collaborate with, to make it happen. It doesn't mean becoming an accountant. Let me talk about that for a moment, because I've had a very, very exciting experience with that part of the formula. When I did my first YouTube almost 17 years ago, I did it with Barbara Weltman, the yellow book up there. Barbara is the number one, literally the number one small business taxes author and authority. She is the go-to person when somebody needs the information. They go to Barbara to get the answers. That's what she does. That's her expertise. And I've been very blessed to have that relationship with Barbara for all these years. So one year, Barbara and I were having every November. Wow, I have to contact Barbara. That's coming up soon. Every November, Barbara publishes the new edition of that book. This November, I think, will be the 27th year that she has published that book. Obviously, she does the updates of the last 12 months to what's going to happen in the tax year that we are living. So one year I was having a conversation with Barbara, and I told her that we were talking about taxes, and she suggested that instead of necessarily going to an accountant, I was going to an accountant, but I was just throwing everything to the accountant and them interpreting it and doing whatever they had to do. One year, Barbara suggested that I buy some software, was probably some Intuit software, and I bought it. I don't know, I spent $35, $40 for it, and I prepared my own tax return for that year. It wasn't going to be official, but what that whole experience, it gave me the opportunity to understand my business on a line by line basis. So that was the fun part of the experience. So I took the output that I created and I took it to my accountant, and instead of him charging whatever his charge was to prepare a return for me, he charged me for just 1 hour of his time to analyze the tax return that I did and make additions or corrections, and actually he made none, but or suggestions, and so it was a wonderful experience, and something that I continued after that. Put the numbers together, understand what they mean, and I took them to somebody who really knows what they mean and how to change them, how to create a better tax position advantage for you. So the things you need to know about: break-even point, gross profit margin, net profit margin, cash flow. Cash flow is the only thing that I because I was a solopreneur, I didn't have a lot of folks. It was just me. So it was easy for me to make the business adjustments that I needed to make. And so cash flow is the lifeblood of any business, yes. Positive cash flow ensures your company can meet its obligations, reinvest in growth, and weather financial downturns. Even profitable businesses can fail if they experience cash flow shortages. And then customer acquisition costs, CAC. Obviously, yes, that's extremely important. But the way that I approach it is a different analysis, because I have been very blessed to be able to do what I do as a solopreneur, because I pick out the folks with whom I want to do business. I have a marketing and sales idea for myself. I work it, I fine tune it, I research it, I make it work. Then I will want to share that with other folks. Very, very simple. That's what I do. And the formula has worked for me. So customer acquisition cost for me is a different interpretation, because I pick out the folks. I do my research. I find out or try to find out what I believe is their marketing and sales pain, and define it, and then suggest, well, why don't we do this from a creative marketing and sales perspective? Why don't we do this to make it happen? And that's the formula I use. But once again, not for all folks. Burn rate. I'm going to read this because it's kind of humorous. Particularly for startups, the burn rate reflects how quickly you use your cash reserves. How quickly do you use your cash reserves in your personal life? Monitoring this ensures you can manage expenses and decide when to seek funding or cut costs. Actually, to that point, I have never sought funding as such. I know how to cut costs, but the funding that I look for is the investment that the collaborative partner that I choose, that I pick, that I research. It's the investment that they make. That's how I get the money to operate. Okay, point number 3, don't chase growth, stabilize and scale. Yes. Passion, persistence, and patience. Those are my 3. Number 4, assemble a team. Absolutely, positively important. Now, you heard me say that there's only one year in my life, actually almost 2 years in my life, where I had a team, and I assembled. For me, it was the best team I could assemble, and it proved itself because that team produced a fantastic product that proved it could be profitable. The product that we were producing, the magazine, more and more folks wanted to subscribe to the magazine. Let me throw in the trust issue again, and this is why I've been able to move on and succeed and do the things that I've wanted to do in my life. I told you that there was a personal decision, a challenge that had to be made to me, and as I started to think about that challenge, was right around the time that folks were renewing their subscriptions to the magazine, or new subscriptions. They heard about it, they read it, they wanted to subscribe. I had in the bottom of my desk drawer, approximately 1,000 checks for folks who either were renewing their subscriptions or subscribing for the first time that I didn't cash. And when I decided that the magazine was not going to continue to be published by me, I sent all of those checks back to those individuals with a thank you note, thanking them for their trust in me to publish a magazine for their entertainment. And when I saw that it couldn't happen, that's what I needed to do. That's what I had to do. And there are some folks who still follow me today on Facebook publishing that I do, that were in that group from 1979, 45 years ago. Wow, 45 years ago. Team is important. So what I have done over the year, up until that time and afterwards, when there was a task that needed to be done in the business and what I was doing, if I couldn't do it myself, and I spent a lot of time doing things that maybe I should have hired out, but I have hired out, and the one individual that comes to mind follows me, and Sarah, if I know you're going to be watching this video at some time, Sarah was a freelance artist that was with me for, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 years, at least 4 years. And Sarah was an individual. When I said, Sarah, I need this, and this is what it needs to kind of look like, 99.9% of the time, Sarah delivered. And thank you, Sarah. But team's important. And if you're not going to build a team and subcontract out, if you will, make sure that individual can deliver what you are going to be paying that individual to deliver for you. I've had 2 horrible experiences where I invested $3,000 in each one of these individuals because they said to me that they would deliver a marketing and sales solution to what it is that I needed. Neither one of them delivered. Neither one of them delivered and would not accept the fact that they didn't deliver. So it was in both cases, a very, very wasted $3,000. Folks who, in one case, I absolutely knew the individual before I invested the $3,000 in his capabilities or lack of capabilities. The other individual I had met, I think at a networking event, a live event, whatever, I don't remember exactly, but very, very important is that you can trust the individual with whom you are contracting to make something happen. Okay, what was it? I didn't get this far actually in the article. Final thoughts of the article. I'll read those and move on with my final thoughts. Entrepreneurship offers an incredible opportunity to achieve financial freedom, but it's not a path that can be taken lightly. Success requires intentional planning, financial literacy, sustainable growth, building the right team, and strategically existing certain roles. I have all of those, except I don't have a lot of financial literacy. I know the concept, but I know the people to go to get the financial literacy that I need. By focusing on these key areas, you can create a business that not only survives, but thrives, allowing you to achieve your personal and financial goals while building something that lasts, sustainable. Whether you're just starting or looking to scale, these 5 essential tips will help you navigate the challenges of entrepreneurship and unlock the financial freedom you seek. Excellent article. Thank you for whomever wrote the article. To this, I would add, if you are viewing and I happen to be stimulating an entrepreneurial thing going on in your mind, and you want to start a business, please contact me, and I will set you off in the right direction. And right away, the things that you must do. Go to a website, SBA.gov. Small business, SBA stands for Small Business Administration.gov. And I don't know if it still does, but at one time, their website had 4,000 pages of information. You can go to that website. They will give you a step-by-step checklist of what it is that you need to do. And then they'll even work you through establishing a business plan, because you must have a business plan. Have to do it. So SBA.gov. And then affiliated with the Small Business Administration is an organization called SCORE, SCORE. I don't remember exactly what the letters stand for, but SCORE is a wonderful organization, nonprofit, volunteers. They are folks who have been in business and are now mentoring folks who have a problem or a challenge with their existing business or want to start a business. Their mentoring program is second to none. So virtually every community has, they don't all have SBA offices. Most will have a SCORE office, which is an SBA office. So if you have trouble with that in your particular case, contact me and we'll get you set in the right direction. Okay, My final business chapter in my legacy story, a story that I started to tell, to share almost 4 years ago. I do it digitally. I post regularly in Facebook. I post regularly in LinkedIn. I produce YouTube videos that I post, well, and I do a Facebook Live as I'm doing right now. Or I can take that YouTube link that I have created and publish it wherever I want, or wherever will allow me to gain more traction and attention for what it is that we are trying to accomplish. So the Small Business Administration says that there are 33.3 million small businesses. And as I said, that number might be, it won't be double, but it'll be considerable. There'll be millions more solopreneurs who are operating out of their home since the pandemic started 4 years ago. And they are doing, and they have not necessarily identified themselves, but they are trying to create cash flow for sure. And good things can happen now with this community that we are creating. So Wikipedia defines 387 markets in the United States, U.S. markets, and I am using that number to say that the 10,000 live streams, marketing, sales, value, trust, live streams that I am going to produce and publish are going to happen in any one of those 387 markets, and not necessarily happen equally, because the markets are going to be different size. So it's going to look a little bit different, but it's going to be the same. But the commonality, and here's the big differentiating factor, because of trust. I started building my trust model 53 years ago with an affiliation that I had with the Better Business Bureau in Canton, Ohio, where I started my publishing career. And the credo of the Better Business Bureau is trust. I am an accredited business by the Better Business Bureau, and I pay a monthly fee to get this accreditation, but I get the trust seal, their trust seal of approval, because they make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and not and doing it the right way. So there are 400,000 accredited businesses, Better Business Bureau accredited businesses like myself, and those will be the first. They will have with me, with our plan. They will have the right of first refusal for me to publish and produce their story of value and trust, because they've already established themselves. But for the millions of folks who are not accredited businesses with the Better Business Bureau, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying you should, but for whatever reason you aren't. You will have an opportunity for me to publish and produce for you, but you must have a 10-minute, what I call triage, marketing, sales, value, trust, triage with me. And after those 10 minutes, I will be able to say, well, here's how we are going to move forward, or here's how we are not going to move forward, but here's what I think you need to do to move forward for your business. That will happen in a 10-minute conversation. So email me, dleopold@davidsbarter.com. And if you think you qualify or want to qualify or do qualify, email me with a time that you are available to have a Google Meet if we've never met, or if we're going to go right into production to produce and to publish. If we're going to go right into it, then tell me what time you are available. You are available for a half hour, submit it, and I will make every attempt to be available for that half hour. If not, we will find a half hour where I will be available for you. So that is the best way for me to achieve that. Another very important thing about what our system, I have built a marketing and sales, value, trust system. The system being that it will work, the system will work in any market. Originally, I had wanted to physically visit those markets for 6 days, but because of some physical challenges I have, that's not going to happen as frequently as I would like it to happen. It will happen, but not as much. So we will spend a week creating with an investment by a sponsor who will co-produce with me. We will produce 27 live streams in that market, with the most important one being with that sponsor. So on the Saturday of that week, we'll spend time having a conversation with the sponsor and what value do they bring to the marketplace, and why should folks trust them to deliver whatever it is that they need delivered. And here's where two things have evolved in my thinking in the last 2 weeks, that of this investment, marketing sales investment that the sponsor makes, and I know exactly who I'm going to be contacting. I don't know who they are. I know what industry they are in. In all 387 markets, I will be contacting a certain group of folks, and what will happen that of that investment that they make, $5,000 will go to the Better Business Bureau Students of Integrity Scholarship Fund. Go back into that community, into the Better Business Bureau Students of Integrity Scholarship Fund. So the investment gets recycled back into the community. I have always been very close with students of entrepreneurship and all the things that I have done. In fact, the book that I authored and published myself in 2007 Several thousand copies, 2 or 3,000 copies of the book I took into schools, elementary, middle school, high schools in Cincinnati, to spend an hour in the classroom talking about small business, talking about entrepreneurship, and giving the students a book. So, continuing in that tradition, we will make a $5,000 donation to the Better Business Bureau Students of Integrity Scholarship Fund. Now, I've decided to add another dimension to that. 1 hour every week. I don't know what it's going to look like yet because I'm just putting the technology of it together. Students of entrepreneurship, any student of entrepreneurship, be they in a public school or a college, a high school, whatever, will be invited to for better purposes of description, a giant Zoom room to talk about it, to deal with it, to challenge the students, to get them involved, and perhaps those individuals, not perhaps, they will become very good candidates to apply for the scholarships in that market, in that Better Business Bureau market. So that's going to be a fun thing that I've always wanted to do, and that's how it will look. That's my final my final business chapter. So thank you for your time today. Wow. If you are still with me, you have been here for an hour. Time flies when you're having fun. Thank you for your time today. Please, if there's something that I said that you need to react to, do not hesitate to contact me, and I will share with you my thoughts on it, and where my recommendations, if you would like it, to what you should do and what your next steps should be in the journey that you take for yourself. Wow. Do what you love and love what you do. It's a great way to go. Enjoy your day.